we've been able to acquire on the western side just under 3,500 hectares of property. And over the course of the last 10 months, we've engaged on a drill program. And lo and behold, we're getting the same kind of drill results as our neighbors are. So we're very excited, to say the least.
Hello, and thanks for tuning in to the Assay TV, where today I am joined by Nikolaos Cacos. Niko is the President, CEO, and Director of Argentina Lithium and Energy Corp. Argentina Lithium are focused on acquiring high-quality lithium projects across Argentina and advancing them towards production in order to meet the growing global demand by the battery sector. Argentina Lithium is also part of the Grosso Group, a management group with a strong track history of success in the resource sector in Argentina. So welcome, Niko. It's great to have you on the Assay.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
So just for a little recap for our viewers, can you just remind us of Argentina Lithium as a company and some of its flagship projects?
Our Argentina Lithium does what its name states it does. It explores for lithium in Argentina. And there's some very, very good reason for that. Number one, as many of your viewers and investors may be aware, that lithium is in very high demand these days. There's not many newspapers one can escape seeing these kinds of headlines. But to find economic amounts of lithium is not an easy task. It's not as abundant as one would think it is. So where does one find lithium? Typically, most of the lithium that is known in the world comes from what's known as the lithium triangle. Now, the lithium triangle is in South America, and it encompasses a bit of southern Bolivia, a little bit of eastern Chile, and a significant portion of northwestern Argentina. And that is where we are. Our management group, Grosso Group Management, having, in fact, this year, our 30th continuous year of operation in mining exploration in Argentina. We know that country very well. We know its exploration potential very well. And we have been able to assemble a first-class tier of projects from under the noses of some of the larger companies that have been coming in with much, much more money than we have. So we have assembled just under 65,000 hectares of property and 4 projects. Now, our flagship project that we are working on is known as the Rincon West. And why is it our flagship? Because it is on a salt lake, or a salar as they're known in Argentina, that already has 2 significant discoveries. Number one, adjoining our property is a large land package owned by Rio Tinto, the world's second largest mining company. And Rio Tinto has a very large resource, and they're moving this towards production. And it was only a year ago that they paid over $825 million to acquire that position. So a very significant discovery for them. And by the way, they signed an MOU with Ford Motor Company to provide them with lithium for their automotive electric vehicle operations. Interesting. And on the other end of the salar is another miner known as Argosy Minerals, and they've got a land position approximately the same size as ours. They're further along. They've been at it for somewhat longer, and they have also a significant resource with proven and probable reserves, and they're actually moving towards production this year. Now, we've been able to acquire on the western side just under 3,500 hectares of property, and over the course of the last 10 months, we've engaged on a drill program. And lo and behold, we're getting the same kind of drill results as our neighbors are. So we're very excited, to say the least.
Excellent. So let's jump right in with some drill results then. So back in October, you announced some positive results for your Rincon West Lithium project. Can you firstly tell us about those results and how that kind of painted the picture for the project moving forward?
Well, yes, and on our property, on surface, you can't tell if there's aquifers running underneath or whatnot. So in order to help us guide that, we use an advanced geophysical technique known, I'll abbreviate it, TEM. It's transelectrical magnetic surveys. We did this before we began with our drill program, and what we discovered that approximately over 60% of underlaying our property is potentially all aquifer. So this helped us very much to guide where we should be placing our drill pads. Now, we're only allowed on the initial round to do up to 9 platforms or 9 drill holes, and we have spaced them out to cover this whole area. And in October, trying to remember where we were then, we had announced probably 4 hole 5 at that time. We're drilling hole number 9 now, and I'm pleased to say that every hole that we've been able to drill, we've got significant intersections of lithium at grades and densities similar to those grades that have been published by both Rio Tinto and Argosy, our neighbors.
So is it fair to say one of these great intervals was published in January, which was one of your best intervals to date, I believe? What was that interval?
That was over 150-meter interval, grading on average of about 350 milligrams per liter lithium. That is a very significant intercept, and well, we're hoping we'd be able to find many more like that.
So that's extended the lithium brine zone then for the project. And in terms of this extension, what are the plans moving forward now you've got such strong results?
Well, we've got strong results, and we do have more work ahead of us. We've also been very successful in being able to expand and acquire additional ground that adjoins our current Rincon property and to the north. Now, these two are in the permitting stage, and we expect permits for drilling to come in the coming weeks here for our adjoining property. So I foresee us, as we're wrapping up hole number 9, now ending in March, early April, to continue drilling throughout the balance of the year on these 2 other concessions, and then returning back to this original concession as we feel that there's a lot of room to step out and to extend the limit of the lithium brine potential underneath. So as we continue to do that, I suspect by the middle of this year, we're going to start contemplating putting together our initial resource calculation. So this is coming together very, very quickly on an exploration timeline.
Excellent. So obviously these things cost a lot of money to do. Where is the company in terms of funding? I know you recently closed a non-broker private placement. How much was that for, and what do you think you'll be allocating those funds to?
Well, we've been very fortunate. In the 4th quarter of last year, we raised around $9 million Canadian, and plus the funds that we had in our company that topped us up to over 10 million. And that, just under that, actually is the amount that we had budgeted to drill for the balance of the year, not just on the Rincon West property, but also to commence drilling by middle of this year on the Antofalla North property, which is another very prospective property, 3 times larger than Rincon West. And neighbor there is Albemarle, one of the world's largest lithium producers. So another very exciting project in a salar that we know contains lithium. We're very excited to test to see and if that lithium extends underneath our property. So we've potentially have 2 drill programs going on through the balance of the year, and a potential resource calculations, and the funds that we raised in the last quarter, I think it's going to help us achieve those aims.
So you've mentioned those drill programs. What are some other milestones investors can look out for in the next year? Well,
every month it takes about a month to drill a hole, because these holes are very deep. They're over 300 meters in depth. So every month you can expect that we will have a news release announcing the results of that hole. So each step that we take out and it stretches out and expands our lithium potential, I think is a very important milestone. The second thing, of course, is when we engage to commence our resource calculation. I think that's going to be a very important milestone, because once we are able to confirm and announce something significant, I think the sophisticated institutional investor is going to pay attention, and I think that's going to have a very positive impact on our valuation potentially.
Excellent. So thank you so much for joining me today. It sounds like Argentina Lithium has a huge year ahead of it, and I look forward to the news flow.
I'd be happy to be back to talk about it.
Thank you.